You're listening to Relatable with Stephanie Michele, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. If you're tuning in and watching us, you will see that there's love in the air and pink in my hair. I had to go a little extra for today as we're celebrating the ideas and the themes around love. And fortunately for me, I had an amazing weekend, a lot of love themes for me in the weekend. Met some new people, got to meet my favorite musician, a woman that's just so important to me. Her music is so meaningful and so I just get flushed with love when I see it or hear it. And I actually got to meet her, and I was so excited to tell her how meaningful her music was to me that I bawled like a baby and trying to express that in a deep love state. And then she started crying too, and I felt so bad. So Zoe Keaton, I'm so sorry that I threw you off when I shared that, but I definitely just wanted you to know how meaningful and how loving I feel in the presence of your music. And I also got to spend time with some friends that are visiting from Chicago. So shouts out to my friend Maria. I had a lovely weekend with her. So I'm really feeling the love. I'm glad to be doing a Valentine's Day show, especially with my guest that I'm going to introduce in just a second. And, you know, when Claudia and I talked about doing this show, we didn't want it to just focus on the lovers in the world. We wanted to focus on the self-lovers too. Like love is everywhere. Love is a choice. Love is something that you can make happen at any given time. And it doesn't mean that you have to have someone in your life. You just have to choose it. So you know, looking for ways to do that, and it's not something you have to, you know, work towards. It's just allowing it to happen, you know. So some of the things that I did today, like I wanted to have loving flowers in front of us just to feel the presence of being in good spirits and loving what we're doing. And with that being said, I want to share, just to set us off, the best definition that I've ever heard for love comes from the book The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And in it he says, love is the willingness to extend ourselves for someone else's spiritual growth. Every time I hear that I get goosebumps, but you know, he says extend yourself for someone else's spiritual growth, but I say extend for yourself. You know, go out on a limb and do something wonderful for yourself that makes you feel love. And that's really what the show is about today. So I'm thrilled to be joined in the studio today with Claudia Endler. Claudia is an award-winning jewelry designer whose love of art and architecture accumulated in the launch of her line in 1999. Her designs are in private collections of some of LA's top cultural leaders, including museum curators, architects, gallery directors, artists, and other jewelry designers. You know you're a big deal when other jewelry designers like your work. And you know, you might wonder, well, why would you want a jewelry designer on your show, Stephanie, when you're going to talk about love? Well, I'm going to tell you. You know, Claudia works with people in the moment that they're feeling the most love or they want to express their love. So she's either designing engagement sets or wedding sets for people, or doing custom work for someone that like wants to reflect on something that they really love. You know, maybe it's a person or a theme that they want to have in their life. So she's working with the concept of love pretty much on a daily basis. And for sure, if I ever get to go like this and get a ring on it, it's definitely going to be one of her rings. So I'm thrilled to have Claudia in the studio today.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah?
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. I wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like
on this theme, I wanted to ask you how you're going to celebrate. But I see the pink in your hair, and I see the flowers here, and that's awesome. That's wonderful.
I'm already celebrating. Like it's, you know, it was a good lead-in to Valentine's Day, and I don't always think about it, you know, but I am choosing love more and being more conscious about choosing love, especially what's going on in the world today. You know, I definitely do not want to be on the hate side of anything.
Yeah.
And so, you know, making sure that I'm speaking to somebody once a day that I love, or doing something that I love, or extending myself, because I happen to care about myself. I happen to, you know, love how I'm showing up in the world, and I want to, you know, keep good things in my tank to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's it is a practice, it is a choice, but I tend to like making the choice, you know. So yeah, I had to pump out the pink just to.
It looks so celebratory.
Thank you.
I want some.
You want some? Okay, I've got it. I didn't bring it with me, but I could easily hook you up after the show if you want some pink here. Yeah. Send you home to your fiance like that. Well, so let's learn about you. Let's talk about you, Claudia. I shared my definition, or the most meaningful definition that I've ever heard about love. What does love mean to you?
I think it does include that. It's funny because that's a very big question, a very important question, and it can include a lot of things. It can, for me, it does include acceptance and respect and trust. I think probably the most is a commitment. Commitment to show up for the other person and for yourself, and a commitment that you make to the other person and to yourself to show up even when things are hard or challenging, or you need to sacrifice something. Some people say, oh, it's the warm feeling that you get, and yes, that is true. I think I feel the knowledge of knowing that there's a person there for you, or that you are there for yourself, gives you that confidence to be more of who you are in the world.
I could definitely relate to that. You know, even just by what I've shared earlier, like, you know, I do generally I love myself. I actually love how I've evolved as a person, and I'm doing the work that I love, and I have friends like you that I love. Like, I'm surrounded by things that are like really important to me. But when I think of being in a loving, more intimate relationship, the idea that love in the tank is just another, like, a little supercharge that even puts me in another level. It is something like you can't fake it. It's just something that, like, gives you just a little bit of extra something, and because of that extra something, there's value in that relationship. You're willing to do anything. Like that extending part really gives me goosebumps, because it doesn't feel like in an extend that you're doing something out of your comfort zone when you're in love. You want that other person to be happy. You want to see that love reflected back, and you feel good, and it's just this constant, like, you know, state of feeling good things.
Well, what is important for the other person is also important for you. And what's important for me is important to the other person. Yeah. So that, I think April actually touched on this last week, is talking more about what your values are and what you find important in life. And then your partner, your significant other, hopefully finds those things important too for you.
Don't have to do the same things, don't have to be interested in the same things, but value the same things.
Right.
Like, generally appreciate the same things in life, for sure.
Yeah, appreciation, acknowledgement, acceptance.
Yeah.
Physical, of course, comes in with that.
We were talking on the way here about the 5 love languages, which I think April actually referred to as well on the last show. So there's, let me see if I can remember them. So there's physical touch, there is words of affirmation, there is quality time, there is gifts, and acts of, I forgot it again. Acts of service. Acts of service would be a kind of, a way to say it. And every person has their own combination of which ones they really want to receive, or which ones make them feel most loved. And you don't even have to have the same as your partner. Like, your partner could be total physical, and yours is more quality time.
Right.
But as long as each other is willing to to communicate and do the one that the other one, really appreciates, then it's fine. But knowing it is half the battle, and then having the willingness to kind of share those things.
Yeah. Well, I think also knowing maybe your other half isn't quite well versed in finding you the gift or giving you the flowers.
Yeah.
Maybe they are better at making dinner at night, or
which would be an act of service.
Fixing the car.
Yeah.
So it's also an acceptance on that person's part to understand that the other person has a hard time showing that, and so it's showing it in that way. So it's this little dance. I mean, you can't have too many you can't have that expectation on all those levels. You kind of have to figure out what's the most important to you.
And most importantly, name of the show, like communicate those. I get really frustrated with some of my girlfriends when they're like, well, he's doing this, but he's not doing this. I'm like, well, did you talk to him about it? Like, I mean, we both sexes, we like feedback, share something and find a very nice way to say, oh, I love it when you did this, but this is something I would really love. And and generally people want to, at least try to get to that point of like, that's what you really love? Fantastic, I'll do it. But talk about it. Like, we have to talk about these things.
Well, also, part of that, and I'm finding that in my relationships, so is finding out about what do I really want.
Yes.
Because I'm not always used to thinking about what I want.
Yes.
Or what do I really want?
Yes. Yes. That's a big thing.
And if I say I don't know, my fiance might say, I think you know. But I want you to say it out loud, which is quite wonderful.
Yeah. That's nice too.
That's nice. He's listening.
So
he's listening. It's what's important to me is important to him, and I feel the same way towards him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to find out more about him in a second, but
yes.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about rings. I want to talk about jewels.
Okay.
And so let's first talk about, like it said in the introduction, I know you are working with couples at a time where they're ready to commit their lives to each other. So they are picking out wedding sets, and it probably starts with the man picking out the engagement ring. What does that look like, or what have you learned about love from that interaction? Like,
there's excitement.
Yeah.
There's nervousness.
Yeah.
Okay, if I get the guy on his own, then of course there's the nervousness. They're doing this on their own. They're delving into a subject matter with the jewelry and engagement part of it, where there might be some expectation that they feel either socially or from their significant other that they need to, that they're trying to live up to. And at the same time, they really want to do something that is an act of love.
Right.
They want to gift something that represents how they feel.
Yeah.
And yet there are parameters within that.
Yeah.
So
I know you're really good at helping them, because this is a nervous time.
It's a nervous
at first
time.
Love looks nervous, or commitment looks nervous, but you've shared a couple things with me about, you've got to get them to kind of tell the story, or to talk about the other one, so that you can understand a little bit about the aesthetics of what this person likes, and their love story too, which always gets kind of somehow.
I always ask, how did you meet this person? What do they like? What is their taste? What do you know what you're going to say? How you do it? Present it. Tell me a little bit about this person. And their eyes always light up.
Yes.
They always get this smile on their face, and they are always in consideration for that other person. I mean, when I see love, that is what I see.
So it gets a little bit more comfortable for them when they are reflecting on that actual person.
Yes.
And then you're kind of in the co-creation mode of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really sweet. It's really sweet. They're worried.
Yeah. How amazing to do this for a career.
I can't tell you how much it means to me and how honored I am to be part of that and help them in that way. I try to make it easier for them, a little bit easier.
They sharing how they're going to propose. And
yes, and you hear a little bit more about them and how they got together, maybe some things that are important to them, whether it's family or she really likes this or he really likes that. I had a couple, they were going to get married or he wanted to propose, and she's Irish and the color green is really important to her. So we made sure we incorporated green stones in the ring just as a symbol. And so there's ways to reflect that in the jewelry that we make.
But it should be that way. Just like there's no rules or in love, like you're the piece that's going to reflect that,
right?
For Allah, hopefully forever.
Right.
There should be no rules in how that looks or how that comes together. It's just a personal reflection.
Yeah. Often, these days I get couples coming together. And looking together, which I think
the guys are like, shush.
Well, it does take a little bit, and I think that that's important. A lot of times you don't know what the other person wants, and you're spending a significant amount of money, and so you want to make sure that other person is happy. And sometimes people aren't always on the same wavelength either, which I really like this, but I really like this, and they now need to negotiate and figure out what is it, and I help them through this, helping them figure out what are the aspects of this particular piece that they like or don't like, or what's important to them. How do they want to feel? How does it want to feel on their hands? How much, we can get into specifics about how big should it be, how small should it be, that kind of thing. But it's interesting. They may not always agree. One may have an opinion about something and the other one may be different. So watching them and kind of talk about it and get it out there as to why they like something or what's important to them.
And the creative process alone, I think, is intimidating for people. There's a certain amount of trust how things evolve that are not similar to how we operate in life.
No.
Things are a little bit more black and white. So it may even be their first time to sort of co-create or be in this like creative process where I can't totally express everything or how I want it to look, but I'm hoping just by how I'm showing up and communicating, like it just evolves into the piece that I want it to be.
Well, I ask a lot of questions.
I know you do. I
know you're good at it. Yeah, and this is really funny because I've been thinking in life in general, we need to ask more questions.
Yeah.
If we're not getting the information and somebody's not communicating, then ask more questions, and you're all about that.
Yeah. If you've watched the show at all or have listened to the show at all, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of why questions. It's one thing to go, well, what do you do? But it's like, why do you do it? What motivates you? And the why behind that. So I'm sure there's why questions in your process, because that's where we get into the depth of like what's in our hearts and what's in our soul and what do we really stand for. Our values are in our whys. Our values are not in our whats. People that are, I would hope, that are making this commitment to each other, they know their whys. They've explored that, and that's the kind of stuff that has to come up in this, creating these rings to reflect on this commitment that they're about to, this journey that they're about to go on.
Well, it's the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the beginning. Okay, they've dated, and they've obviously thought that this is the person they want to spend the rest of their lives with. And so it's the beginning of them communicating these things together as a team and then they're going to move forward into the actual getting married part of it.
Right.
Now, years later, what comes of that?
Yeah.
And hopefully this connection grows.
Yeah.
And it does, and it's wonderful to see when that happens too.
I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't, like I said at the beginning, I don't want to, the show is for everybody. We're just celebrating love. And even if you're bah humbuggy about Valentine's Day, there's another aspect of what Claudia does that I think is really important to share for those of us that are single or, are not, you're not in a relationship. There's still ways we can celebrate love. So one of the things that I find fascinating about your work is people do come to you to have you create a piece of jewelry that is reminding them of possibly a loved one or a new commitment that they're making in their life, a goal that they have, or them just like looking at something and feeling fully present and aware and powerful when they're looking at that statement jewelry. Talk about that. Like, what does that look like when you're working with a client that's wanting a piece of jewelry like that?
That's a really intimate and great process.
Yeah.
I am the beneficiary of getting to hear some amazing and very moving stories. So for some people it is to commemorate maybe their grandmother, or it is to commit to something that they want to do in their lives, or remember who they are when things are challenging. So somewhat of a talisman to give them power and a reminder of what they need or want to accomplish, or who they are in the world. So for instance, I have a client who wanted this ring, and she was on a trip with her boyfriend, the first one she'd had after her divorce, and he taught her a lot about love, things that she never thought she would find again. And he passed away suddenly. And she got this ring for herself, and we engraved it with the word love because she wanted to wear it every day as a reminder that this love was now shown to her, and she was going to be open to find it again.
That's amazing.
And we sat there and we cried, both of us, and it was just so moving and so powerful. And to be in that space with her and give her the space, and then to hear later that it worked. She wore it, and she is now in another relationship that's healthy and wonderful, and she's happy.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So she had that reminder every day.
Yes.
What if you're just reflecting on self-love? So maybe talk about that ring, because I kind of know a little bit about that ring.
The ring I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Okay. This is I call this the power ring, because it's a reminder to myself that I have a power. The story behind this is that there is something deep inside of us, something in each of us that moves us and drives us forward, our spirit, if you want it. It is not always visible to the outside world. Sometimes it's not even visible to ourselves. And we often have to dig deep to find
Extend. It's that extension theme.
Yes.
Go find it. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
Put yourself out of your comfort zone. When you find it, that is so powerful. That embracing of it is so powerful that it changes your perspective on everything, and it makes you stronger. It gives you more confidence. It is you in the world.
Celebrating
you in the world.
And
so
you can't do that.
You can't. So and this is my reminder ring to use my voice more. Which is very funny because I'm here with you today.
You're doing great. But so the stone is really deep set into it.
The reason it's domed and it has a lot of height is because the stone is set deep inside of it, and the inside, and there's a hole here, so you can see it's all mirrored, so it reflects that, it expands that brightness.
Yeah.
So you can see it from the side even. And I call it my power ring.
It's amazing. It is a power ring. I mean, why are big rings called cocktail rings? That's not very powerful. They should be called
power rings.
You have to be powerful to wear a big ring, and you're expressing something. And
Well, I say that to people. Okay, if you're going to wear a big ring, don't let it wear you. You wear it. You have to embrace it.
Absolutely. That goes with clothing and everything. It's like,
pink hair.
Pink hair. Yeah. I'm all for expression, and pink hair is definitely the theme.
It is about self-expression. I think if we give voice in some way to what we're feeling or wanting to connect with in ourselves, then that helps us connect better with other people. It gives us confidence. It just gives us more strength in who we are, how we need to show up, and who we are in the world.
We're told, and I know this is true, and there's no way that you can have love without feeling love inside. Like, you can't go out and ask for something that you're not already experiencing. And like Claudia said, like, based on our diverse backgrounds and things that have happened, in our lives, like, sometimes we don't know what's there, and you need a little help pulling it out, and you are probably going to be your biggest, I don't want a coal miner pulling that out. Like, you have the tools better than anybody else to go in there and kind of pull it out, and having that reminder to reflect on seems pretty powerful to me.
Well, even if you don't have the tools, if you have the awareness that something is amiss, that you need, that you can at least go and find the tools. And ask for help.
Thank you for saying that. A big part of growing, like, first, to me, it starts with, and I know I've said this on the show too, is just switching on the curiosity switch. Like, just because we were brought up in a certain culture doesn't mean, like, everything that we've been exposed to. I kind of sometimes feel it's like clothing. Like, everything that you put on doesn't mean it's the best fit. And the first thing that has to happen in order for you to discover is it, and then what else is out there, and what's best for me is, like, the switch just has to be switched on to curiosity and just this openness to kind of learn and grow and, like, try new things, and you can have boundaries, you can do it comfortably in your own zone, but try new things, and for sure ask for help. I mean, the thing, when I reflect on love in my own life, the things that have been most meaningful are, like, the interactions with mentors. That I come from a family, everybody's divorced, aunts and uncles are divorced. They don't reflect too well on loving relationships. Some of them are doing okay right now. Actually, both my parents and their marriages are doing really well. And actually, shout out to my dad and Nancy, and to my mom and Papa D, because they do reflect on love, and I'm grateful for that now in their lives. But now I got lost thinking of and lovingly towards my parents. But no, there wasn't a lot of how to do it or what it looks like growing up, and so I actually sought out not just, like, business mentors. I actually sought out mentors, like people in relationships that had a relationship that looked like something that I'd want, and would just learn from them and ask questions and, read books and try new things, and till I really figured out what it was that I had and how I was going to love myself and what my values were, and then and continuing to interact. You and your fiance are one of those couples too, like that.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
You just
you hear that, Ren?
Ren. It's easier to see what you can have when the people that you choose to spend time with and learn from are living in that love and that light. It's easier to see it kind of come to you. So it's not that.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's true. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So should we talk about Valentine's Day a little bit more?
Sure.
Already on the way here, we wish someone a happy Valentine's Day, and he was kind of like, bah humbug. And I saw some Facebook posts and things, and people are like, bah humbug. And yeah, I've been there before. I can understand that, but I just want to encourage everybody, no matter if you're with somebody or not, like, just to do one thing today that you absolutely love. And maybe that's the question you have to ask yourself. Like, what do I love? Like, what haven't I done for a while that I love? Like, take a bubble bath or have some beautiful flowers. Like, what is it? But just lean into love today in some way is what I would encourage you to do. And let's maybe like talk about some ideas of how we could do that.
I have a really good one.
You have a really good one? Okay. Is this what you're doing tonight?
No,
Are
but
you
I can
sure
tell you
that?
that.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So, what you can do for yourself too, and I think this is really important, is self-acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
Is to maybe write a love letter to yourself.
Nice.
And you can even think about somebody else writing it to you.
Yeah.
What did they appreciate about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
April and I went to lunch after last week's show, and we were in this really charming store, and we found this hard-covered book that was the shape of like a number 9 envelope, a standard business envelope.
Yeah.
And in it were envelopes to your lover. And it could have been to yourself if you wanted to, but it was to your lover. And they had like a lead-in statement, like, I appreciate you for, and then you could fill out and write a handwrote note and then fold it up, and it was self-envelope, and send it off or hand it to someone. So you can do that for yourself.
Yes, you can.
I like that.
I have a friend who sends every year, a Valentine's Day card to us.
Oh,
And I think that's so sweet. Thank you, John. I think it's so sweet.
that is very sweet.
So there's a way to honor the day by giving also to other people
Love.
love.
Yeah. So call somebody. Call somebody and tell them that you love. And if you are really deep in the bah humbug of the day and you're like, I can't think of anybody that would want me to hear
Call
from
your
me.
mom.
I was just gonna say, call your mom, call your dad, call your grandma, call an aunt, an uncle, and cousins. Aren't cousins the people in the family that everybody forgets and doesn't get to, we think top tier, we think of the older, but we don't reach out to our cousins. I'm sure everybody has a cousin that would love to just hear from their another cousin and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, just sending you some love today, and that, I think compliments are mutually beneficial. I think when you get to lift somebody else's day, like, you feel that. It's hard not to. I've often experimented with, or I've often gone to coffee shops to write, to work, and I had a favorite one in Venice that I would go to that I could sit up high and like watch everybody walk in, and I remember many times like just watching people walk in and like watching someone smile, be brave enough, be brave enough, because it's, it can be a little scary to like smile to someone you're not sure how they're going to receive it. And I'd watch somebody smile, and when the person received it, they would lift up a little bit, the person that sent it would lift up a little bit, and then you would see it ping, 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 like anybody that witnessed that interaction would also go, oh, it's just this subtle little thing.
Just a smile actually goes a long way.
So long.
It does.
As opposed, and I'd watch the other thing happen too. So I'd watch the person get brave enough to go, I'm going to smile at this person, or I'm going to say something nice to the barista. And then it wasn't reciprocated. And it's just like, boom, deadpan energy. Like, it just, nothing kills the energy than not having that reciprocated more. And it's like, that's terrible, but as opposed to the other, lifts everybody's day, and I'm sure that like affects them later on in their day as well.
Looking them in the eye and saying hello, even. Hi, how are you?
Yeah. And I know, you probably think, well, I could do this on Facebook, right? I could just like say, hey, I'm thinking about you to a cousin or a friend on Facebook. You could, but it would be so much more meaningful if you picked up the phone.
Yeah.
It would be so much more meaningful.
We don't do that as much anymore. We do. I mean, I have to say I kind of fall into that sometimes too, texting.
Yeah. It's easy. But if we're celebrating love today, and so love means like deep connection and like feeling something a little bit more. Text is just one form of communication. So I can get a text from someone, and I can assume or read in the emotion, whether it's there or not. But I don't have a full, deep feeling of what that meant until I hear somebody's voice, and now I kind of understand a little bit more. Or if I see their eyes, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're happy. Like, you don't really know, and you don't have that real deep connection or feeling until there's a little bit more layers in the communication that's happening. So, and we need that as human beings. Like, we need something that touches us a little bit more. And I think we've kind of, what's the word for it? With Facebook and social, like we've lost lost that connection. We've lost what that feels like. So it is great when somebody calls.
Well, you reach more people on a different level than what you're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you and Ren doing for Valentine's Day?
Well, I am going to make dinner.
Uh-huh.
And I'm planning on putting some candles on. And drawing a bubble bath.
Yay!
Yes.
Yay for bubble bath.
Yes, we haven't used the bathtub in a long time, and he loves bubbles.
Oh, he loves bubbles. Mm-hmm. I'm so busting you the next time I see you, Ren. I'm just kidding. We all love bubbles. We like champagne bubbles.
Yes.
We like bubble baths.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right. So you guys are having a bubble bath. Let's go back to, I'm really leaning into my single girlfriends, my single friends right now that are just not feeling love. I want, and Claudia does too. We were talking about this pre-show. We want you just to feel love. We want to, give you what it looks like, what it sounds like, and just find a way to like celebrate. So what else can we do there? Like what other things could, if there's not somebody, you don't have a hot date planned tonight, what else could you do to just be in the moment and feel more loving? What does that look like? You got another one, Claudia? Not to put you on the spot.
Not to put me on the spot. Yeah, right. Well, I remember as kids we had those Valentines.
Yes.
So those are really cute, and they have more and more of those in the store now that are non
lovers.
Yes,
made for lovers.
Not made for lovers only. So sharing that with a friend. I think taking yourself to a museum, or going to say high tea somewhere, or like, hey, why not take a bubble bath and have a glass of champagne? I mean, I've spent many years single before I had a relationship. So those are some of the things I did. I went for a walk on the beach, which I love doing.
Nature's a great way to connect.
Hike, right?
Yeah. Whether
Whether you do it by yourself or a group of people that you really are close to and connected with, I think that really helps.
Even if you live somewhere and there's not a nice place to walk, even walking through a place that has live plants and flowers and like looking at all the different varieties and sort of getting lost in that, I think that there's a lot of, like, it's hard to look at nature and not see something loving created that. Like there's so much art and design in plants and flowers that just kind of lift you up a little bit.
Yes. Oh, buy yourself flowers like you did.
I did.
I love flowers.
I'm totally owning that.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So it just make yourself dinner.
Go get a massage.
Go get them. Oh, that's one of my favorite.
That's mine too.
Yeah, go to the spa, get a massage.
Go have dinner. Talk about extending. Going to a place, maybe not on Valentine's Day. This would be a real brave thing, and I wouldn't want to send somebody out to do this. Maybe not on Valentine's Day.
I've done it before.
You have?
Yes.
On Valentine's Day?
Yes.
You sat somewhere by yourself?
But it was kind of not planned. But go ahead. I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear that, and then I'll finish this. Like that sounds so much better than what I was going to say.
No. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it is a brave thing to do. Is just to go sit somewhere and have a meal. Or even just a drink at a bar, and just as women, many women, lots of my girlfriends, like feel more loved when they get a chance to put on a pretty dress, and just put on some great heels and just be seen. And so going to sit somewhere and having a drink or a snack, that feels nice. And if it feels a little scary, like taking a book is fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. That extending and there's something about doing something that makes you uncomfortable that you're not going to get any more comfortable. The most uncomfortable that you're going to feel is in the first moment. It's like being naked. You don't get more naked. You're just naked. So it will pass. It's true, right? Like
in a way, you kind of feel naked. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. It is true. But you know, at some
more
point,
vulnerable.
It's just like, I can't get more naked. I'm naked.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we can't have a Valentine's show without talking about getting naked. So there you go. There you go. We had to say that. So tell me now. I want to hear your story.
Well, it was kind of an accident.
Okay.
I was doing a show in Palm Springs, and it was that weekend. It was the Modernism show, and it happened to be that weekend. This was a few years ago. And I was in the hotel by myself, and I thought, okay, well, I'm really hungry. I need to go out and get some food. And whatever was close to the hotel, I was walking, and there were balloons everywhere.
Oh, no.
There was all these hearts. And I was fully willing to go inside and sit at a table and eat, although apparently everything was booked with reservations.
Right.
So now the hotel restaurant where I was staying was available. It was early, so it was available, and there were a lot of older people because it was really early, and everybody kind of looked at me. I was at a table by myself. I just smiled.
Yeah.
But it was also sweet to see a lot of women friends together.
Yeah.
Celebrating.
Yeah. It's a date.
Yeah.
It's just love.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's gotten kind of hallmarky, but
It
it's
kinda
just love.
has.
We should be, feeling and expressing it every day.
It's true, and I was going to say we should make more of and this is something that I'm probably not really great at, is making more concerted effort daily and practicing that, which I'm learning to do, is to set practices for yourself.
I think it 100% has to do with slowing down. When you're just trying to get stuff done,
right?
and then we let all these distractions. I mean, Facebook, social media, it's such a distraction. It's your time is so precious. Like the best thing that you can do to express love for yourself is like honor your own time, right? And slowing down to ask yourself the question, what is it that I like to do? What is it that just lights me up? And slowing down to even, this is a tough one sometimes. Slowing down enough to acknowledge and receive a compliment when someone gives it to you. They're like amazing gifts, and that someone might say something to you in the day and you don't even stop to receive it or reflect on like how amazing it is to have somebody that sees you and acknowledge you and listens to you, like you were talking about earlier. But it does require us to go, okay, yeah, pay attention to that stuff. Life is precious,
Yeah, it is very precious.
Absolutely.
I'm reminded.
How else can we express love today? Let's
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to give a shout out to the most amazing bakery. For people on the west side of Los Angeles, Sinners and Saints, that's the place to be today. And why it's the place to be? Because her chocolates are amazing, but even if you have you can't have the real decadent desserts, she has gluten-free ones too, and they're amazing. And I've tasted every single one of them, and I can't tell the difference between those and the other ones. So that's the place to be. Chocolates for sure. But anyway, but yeah, how could we talk about love and not talk about sweets? Oh, I forgot one. Animals.
Oh, you have a doggy.
Yeah, animals. I mean, if you don't have your own, go squeeze somebody's dog, or go to a petting zoo, or just hold an animal, or volunteer to hold a baby. Maybe there's science in this. So, I mean, there is, my mentors, Harville Hendricks and his wife Helen streamed an event all Saturday last weekend, and where couples were learning how to talk to each other and express admiration and have deeper conversations. And one of the things that they did throughout this event was encourage 60-second hugs. And it wasn't because they just wanted people to have 60 seconds of full body contact. It was 60 seconds because oxytocin is created, and that is the love.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you get that hold, when you're in close contact with someone, oxytocin is created and flowing through your body, where you actually will feel love. So giving a friend a hug, or holding a puppy, or holding any cute, cuddly little animal and doing that for like 60 seconds actually does flood your system with oxytocin, and yay. I would like that.
I used to go to the pet store.
Yeah, pet store.
Yes, go to the pet store and pet the little dogs and cats.
Yes.
Definitely.
Maybe volunteer. I don't know how long it takes to get on a volunteer system at the hospital, but holding some babies sounds like a good thing to do too.
Yeah, I think the City of Hope Children's Hospital does that. Yeah,
we could do that.
Yes.
All right. Well, I hope. Oh, well, let's wrap up our talk on love and reflect on Valentine's Day. Is there anything that you now know about love and relationships and commitment that you wish you had known as an early adult in your 20s?
Yeah. Acceptance and things I still work on.
Yeah.
Is honoring myself.
Yeah.
Honoring what is important to me. And I think in your 20s, you're still discovering that. I think you're going through the relationships because they're learning, everything's a learning opportunity. I mean, it still is, but in my 20s, I think it was a little bit more naive, for sure. So learning what's important to me and then having the boundaries to stick to it.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I think if I had to answer that question, which I guess I'm going to. And love looks like a little silliness, I think, for me, because I feel very silly with the show, and I'm having fun with it. So
good.
Yeah, my love must be silly. So if I had to answer that question, I would say I had an answer and it just floated away. What I've learned the most, like anything worth having, it does require a little bit of work. Like, so you can't just like the misconception of like, oh, you're gonna fall in love and everything's gonna be great, and that you don't have to work on that. You have to choose it. I mean, every day, and like especially right now with all the kinds of nasty headlines and things that are out there, you get to choose how you're going to respond to that and how it's going to affect your day. Are you going to take that and put it aside if it's really bothering you, or find out more and then like do something about it? But are you going to love yourself first, or are you going to get all crazy and get anxiety and like and then and carry that and try to talk to people and get them all fueled up too? Like you get to choose every day like how you operate, and I think choosing love and understanding what that looks like, and taking the time to calm yourself down if you're upset or angered, because you want to be in this state and you want to give that to somebody else, or the people around you, takes a little work. It gets easier with practice, just like anything else, but it actually takes a little bit of work, because there's definitely things in the world that are not leaning in towards love, and they're there every day. We're confronting them every day, and so you get to choose how that's going to affect you and how you're going to respond to it. And I for sure did not know that in my 20s. I thought everything was just going to be handed to me. It's not true.
Yeah, and I think maybe then I was also more captivated by the idea of romantic love. Oh, he says he loves me, or she says she loves me, or they say they love me. But is that really, do the actions really back that up?
Yeah. Follow through is everything. Words mean something. Words matter, but the action behind the word is so much more important.
Yeah. So I think that for me, I know for me that's a big learning lesson. So over the years, I've looked more at how people act versus what they say. So there needs to be an alignment.
Yeah. I've learned, and everybody judges. I kind of, when somebody say, "Oh, they're so judgmental," everybody's judgmental. Okay, like you judge on something. You're usually judging on the things that you're hardest about yourself. That's usually how it works. It's like you're judging somebody else. It's like the thing that you're like, But
it's funny, we don't even see that sometimes either.
Yeah, we don't see that. And somebody lovingly needs to point that out too. Like that's a real hard conversation. But I choose to, evaluate or judge. I'm just going to use it. I'm going to reclaim the word judge. I choose to judge people on the size of their heart and their actions that follow. I mean, that's how I really get to know somebody. That's what's meaningful to me.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So we're almost to the end, and I'd like to illustrate sometimes how relations are, at any given time, the circumstances of how we're relating can change. We've had a pretty light show, but sometimes maybe the magic question box will take us somewhere else, and so I want to see what that looks like. So we're going to do one question out of this box. Let's see what we can get out of here. This is funny.
Are you putting it back?
I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
I'm just going to read it. It says, what type of stealing is okay?
Stealing? Well, they say, and all's fair in love and war, so if you steal someone's heart.
Look at you. Amazing answer. It's okay to steal someone's heart. All right. I like that answer. I think that was a perfect question. I'm not going to ask any more from the box. The box performed today. All right.
We got like the 8 ball. Remember that the 8 ball?
Yeah.
Ask the 8 ball.
Yeah, I never know what's going to come out of that thing. There's some crazy questions in there, but that one was a good one. That was a great answer.
I don't know if it's
I loved your answer, Claudia. That was great. All right. So we have just a little bit of time for the last segment of the show. And this is a show about love and a show about relating. So what I'd like to do is, ask each guest to just share something that's deep in their heart, deep desire, could be a new commitment, a goal, and try to think of a person that's connected to and say something to that person. And, the reason that I ask everybody to do this is I just, feel that we don't get enough time to share deep desires. And when we do, we feel connected. We feel more connected when we do, and therefore just raise the level of empathy in the room. When we feel more connected, there's more empathy, and we damn well need that right now. So are you willing to share a heart swell, something that's in your heart that you...
Sure.
Just sure? Sure. What did that, if you're watching, that totally look like extending out of your comfort zone. But
yes.
Claudia's got some love in her tank for herself, so she can do this. I know she can do this. Okay. What would you like to share?
What would I like to share?
Yeah, is there just something to somebody? Who's on your mind right now when you think about love and you just want to say something to them?
I would like to tell my father that I love him very much, and my mother that I love her very much. Happy Valentine's Day.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I need to ask you anything more about that. See what that looked like? That's the call that everybody wants, and believe me, that's gonna light somebody's day up. So, I'm sure your parents are gonna appreciate the love. That I just felt it, and if they are not unsure about it, tell them to call me.
Oh my gosh!
I just felt that love to completely flood the studio. So I'm really happy that you shared that, and I do hope her parents have a great Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. There's tissues here.
Okay. Okay.
That's what love looks like. So I hope you all got to see and experience that with us today. Next week, well, first of all, you got to know how to find Claudia. Hello. Let me give some love for Claudia. So Claudia, you can find on her website. It's ClaudiaEndler.com, right? Not designs. ClaudiaEndler.com. She's on Instagram at Claudia Endler. She's also on Twitter at CED Designs. But go and check her out. You'll see, I think she even has a beautiful video on Instagram of the power ring, so you can check that out and some other pieces too.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. This was fun.
You're
the exact right person that I needed to do the show.
Well, thank you. I'm so honored. This has been really fun. Thank you.
Thank you. So next week on the show, I'm going to have my good friend Mark Fairfield from the Relational Center. You've heard me talk about the events that we're doing there, and he's going to come on and talk about the Relational Center, and particularly a event that they do, or it's actually a group that they do called Discover Your Story, and it's very connected to what we were talking about today. About learning yourself, and it will help you reflect on love and be able to connect with people. So we're going to be talking about that. I'm really thrilled about that. As always, you can tweet me at Love More Now. Hello, theme of the show. You can tweet me at Love More Now if you want to talk about anything that happened today. You want to get in touch with Claudia. I would love to make that connection. And you can follow me and connect with me on Instagram at Relate with Steph, where you'll see a picture of my cute little dog that I took this morning for Valentine's Day. He was snuggled with his pink elephant.
I saw that on Facebook.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's in the spirit. He's helping me out. And as always, so we have another public shared experience coming up at the Relational Center. The next one is Sunday, the 26th. We're starting a little bit earlier. It starts at 1:45 and it ends at 4. We go to 2 to 4, but we give people a little bit of time to get there with LA traffic. So I'd love to see you there. And we do some awesome exercises that like put you in this like really amazing state of like feeling good about relating and knowing yourself. So I'd love to meet some people there. And that is the end of our show. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope you find a way to feel and express love to someone. And, until next week, happy relating.
You're listening to Relatable with Stephanie Michele, only on LA Talk Radio.